Hello, this is what she's all about, and in this review we're looking at the absolutely 100% brand new Christopher Ward Moonphase, and I'm very proud and excited to say that I'm the first journalist to receive one of these. This very watch I have in my hands is one of only two samples available at the moment, so obviously greatly appreciate Christopher Ward allowing me to get my hands on this before anyone else, so that's very exciting. Currently, the Moonphases are only available on pre-order, but from October they'll be available, so you've only got a couple of weeks to wait. So it's obviously very good to have a preview of what you can expect of this beautiful watch. So let's talk about the specs first of all. So price-wise, it will cost you starting at £1,295 for the leather. And when you think about competition, that's probably quite competitively priced, because other Swiss-made automatic Moonphase watches generally start at around £1,500. So whilst it is quite highly priced, it is still reasonably competitive. The size is 40mm in diameter, with a height of 13.3mm. And it has a lug-to-lug length of 48mm. It has sapphire crystal on the case back and on the front sapphire, and the front sapphire is actually museum grade sapphire crystal with AR08 anti-reflective coating, which if you've not seen it before, it is very, very impressive and very good at reducing reflections. It has water resistance to 50 meters. A 20mm wide strap, reducing down to 18mm at the beta clasp or the buckle, and it'll weigh around 93 grams, depending on, well, that's the leather watch, weighs 93 grams. So the movement is another one of Johannes Janke's little concoctions. He's made a special module, and this is called the JJ04. And that's based on an ETA 2836 movement. And the ETA 2836 movement is basically a day-date version of the extremely famous ETA 2824 movement. So what he's done is he's used the day aspect of the movement to tie in the Moonphase. And what he's done, he's added a little module and 4 wheels in that extra module control the moon disc, and then there's an extra 2 wheels within that module which control the basically the setting of it. So we'll just go through that now quickly. So obviously when it's in its normal position, you just hand wind it like so. Pull it out to the second position to change the date, as you would expect. And then in the very first position, like normal, you go forwards for your date, but then you go backwards, which would usually change your day, and that changes, if we zoom in a little bit, the moon. There we go. So that's very nice, isn't it? So you'd have to guess. Usually it would be quite handy to set it on either a full moon or a no moon to be able to set it correctly. So if I just set it like so, there we go. So that's how you set it. So obviously, it being based on an ETA, it is going to be exceptionally reliable. Not the most stunningly beautiful movement, but it's still very nice with its blued screws and the CW logo on the rotor as well. So that's pretty cool. It has 25 jewels in there, and feel free to try and count them if you want. So obviously, for the price, it's still very impressive that they've developed their own Moonphase module, and they haven't just used a pre-made option from another manufacturer. So that's what's really good about Christopher Ward. They're always on the cutting edge of technology, and they're willing to do these kind of things themselves. So talking about the case then, starting with the case. It's using one of the classic C9 cases. It's based on a Christopher Ward C9. So we get our usual very well made, machined and finished case with a polished bezel, brushed sides, the centre and the top of the lugs are polished as well, and then underneath we have a polished case back secured in with screws, and on the case back we have very few details, very deeply engraved as well, so quite minimal. Swiss made at the top, and then caliber JJ04, and this is a sample, so there's not one, but that's where the serial number will go, just there. So very simple. Some people would probably complain that it might be a little bit too high, 13mm. Personally, I'm perfectly happy with it. I don't find it too tall at all. I do much prefer the 40mm case to the 43mm case, though, so I'm very happy that they decided to pop it in the 40mm case. That's great. Okay, so talking about the dial now. Many people have commented on this. I've only been wearing it 4 days, and I've already had more people comment on this than I ever have with any other watch. People absolutely love it, and so do I. This is the blue version. They just really love how it's such a deep, crisp blue with the obviously with the night sky. It fits perfectly. These polished hour markers in the hands go perfectly on it, matching the foil effect moon as well, and then the deep blue strap which matches the dial perfectly. It's just really classy, and it just catches people's eyes for some reason. I agree that it is stunningly designed. So in the flesh, it looks a million times better than any pictures or even this video can provide. So it's really quite impressive to the eye. One thing that many people will be very happy about is the fact that the date wheel is blue as well to match the dial. So that's good. Chris Ford put in the effort to match the blue for that. If we zoom in there, and then we have this really nice pattern to this centered disc as well. It's quite hard to explain, but it's like a ripple and wave which fan out as well. So that's very nice. Obviously we'll be able to have a look at this in closer detail with the macro lens on shortly. But the style in general is mimicking the other C9s in the range, such as the hands are exactly the same, and the hour markers as well. So it keeps in trend with the rest of the range. Just fits the Moonphase indicator in very nicely. Okay, so moving on to the strap. It's 20mm at the lugs, and then reducing down to 18mm at the Beta clasp. If the opportunity arises, I would always highly recommend getting a Beta clasp, because I personally think they're absolutely brilliant. Really easy to use, really solid, and dependable as well. I've never had one, pop open on me. Just use the two buttons either side there. We have a brushed centre bit with the CW logo very deeply etched on there, and the two polished edges, and it's just very easy to use, and it also is really thin, has a really thin profile, so it's not uncomfortable in any way at all. And as you can see, when it's shut, there's very minimal amount of metal that touches your wrist, so the vast majority of the strap is leather touching your wrist, so that aids with extremely comfortable wearing. This strap in particular is the alligator strap, and it is extremely soft and comfortable. You can tell that it's a much higher quality strap to the standard Italian calf leather, which is still very nice. Chris Ford straps are always very good, but you can tell that this alligator strap is another level up. And we have a very nice tan underneath with the printing on the underside, which is very comfortable on as well. So let's get a macro lens on then, and we'll have a look at it in a little closer detail. Okay, So bear in mind that this is a sample. There are a couple of tiny little specks and flecks underneath the crystal, which obviously won't be there on brand new watches, so don't be worried. You see there's one just there, and then there's another one just there. So you know, don't worry about them, because obviously on new watches that won't be a problem. Okay, so let me just get this in place. So here's the moon. Very nice texture to it, almost like a crinkled foil. And then if I just rotate the dial, see the starry night as well. It's quite a big disc actually, so probably takes the movement quite a lot of effort to move it. So then we move on to this patterned front section with the little badge with the Chris Ford logo. Printing is very nice and smart. The hands here, not pitched actually, which is a little bit different to the usual C9s. Nice and flat. And then the lovely hour markers there, very crisp and clean and well polished, providing a lovely reflection when the light catches it just right. There's the date window. If I just try and change the date for you. There you go. You can see the colour of the blue matches the rest of the dial very nicely, and it matches the dial, the blue of the Moonphase indicator matches it as well. So there we go, very clean, crisp design, and the printing is all very fine as well. So let me just give the case a quick wipe and I'll show you the case. So starting with the crown, classic C9 crown, can't really complain about it. It's very easy to use, easy to hold and manipulate. And then we have these brushed sides, very uniform brushing, excellently finished, and the polished bezel as well. Very well machined as you'd expect. So moving on to the case back. Start off looking at this, these screws that keep it in place, and the Swiss made deep engraving. On either side we have caliber JJ04. And then if we can just look at the movement here, should be able to see, say, Swiss made down there, 25 joules. What is this? 25. There we go. See the balance spring there, ticking away. And there, just down there, you can see the ETA logo as well, which is nice and reassuring. So there's the CW logo engraved and painted on the rotor, which is a nice touch, not just a sticker or anything like that. I'll just rotate this now. I don't believe we'll be able to see any of the module, because the module's on the front side, on the dial side of the movement, so this will just look like any other 2836 movement. Okay, finally let's just have a look at the strap then. Here's the Chris Ford logo embossed, and then genuine alligator embossed as well. See how well stitched the stitching is, very clean. And then just the top side of the strap as well. See the nice blue, lighter blue stitching, gives it a nice little contrast, keeps things a bit interesting. And then we have the beta buckle as well. And deeply engraved CW, which is nice in quality. The polished sides and this, the two buttons either side as well. And this is just the polished underside that touches your skin, and the little nipple here. There we go. Okay. So the just readjust the camera. So the Christopher Ward Moonphase, starting at 1,295. Yes, that is on the slightly higher scale of the watches I tend to review. But when you compare it to the competition, it still is very well priced. And as you can see for yourself, the design is beautiful, gorgeous. It's very well made as well. It's a real eye catcher and it's stunning in the flesh. So if you were considering one of these watches, you really won't be disappointed at all. And I've got a 7.25-inch wrist for your reference, and it fits me absolutely perfectly. It provides a really good amount of wrist presence. It really catches people's eyes. But then it's also just the right size, so it's not too bulky or too heavy either. So there we go. Would I recommend it? I'm a self-confessed Christopher Ward fanboy, so I would highly recommend it, of course. And the design and the construction of it is really good. So definitely. Okay, so this was the Christopher Ward C9 Moonphase, and that's what it's all about.